Have you ever noticed how some people are always doing something? Always moving, always answering messages, always chasing the next task, and the second the room goes quiet, they feel strange. Like silence is dangerous. Like stillness is a spotlight. Like if they stop, something inside them will catch up. Maybe it is you. You wake up and your brain starts listing emails, calls, plans, errands, goals. And you tell yourself you are productive, you are ambitious, you are just a hard worker. But deep down there is a different reason. Staying busy is not only about success. Sometimes it is about escape. Here is the psychology of people who stay busy to avoid feeling. 1. Busy becomes a shield against the inner voice. When you slow down, you hear things. Regret, anger, loneliness, that old memory you keep pushing away. So you build noise, not with music, with motion. Psychology calls this avoidance coping. You do not solve the emotion, you outrun it. And it works. For a while. Because your brain loves short-term relief. It will choose relief over healing every time, especially when the feeling is intense. So you keep scheduling, you keep cleaning, you keep volunteering, you keep working late, you keep improving yourself. Not because you love the grind, because the grind keeps you from sitting with the question you fear most. What do I feel when nobody needs anything from me? This is why weekends can feel weird. Vacations can feel uncomfortable. Even bedtime can feel like a trap. Because the moment the distractions fade, the inner voice gets louder. And if you grew up in a home where feelings were punished, ignored, or mocked, you learned something early. Do not feel, function. So you became excellent at functioning. 2. Productivity can become a way to earn worth. Some people do not believe they deserve rest. They believe they must prove their value first. This links to conditional self-worth, and it often starts with social comparison theory. You look around, you see someone doing more, achieving more, posting more, winning more. And your brain whispers, if you slow down, you fall behind. So you run. But notice the trap. You are not chasing a goal. You are chasing relief from shame. Shame says, you are not enough yet. And when you finally finish one task, you feel good for 5 seconds. Then your mind moves the target. That is the hedonic treadmill. Your brain adapts to the win and demands a bigger one. So you stay busy, because stopping would force you to face a terrifying thought. If I am not producing, who am I? Here is why it gets addictive. Every task gives a tiny hit of dopamine. Check the box. Clear the notification. Send the reply. Your brain learns a simple equation. Action equals relief. And because the relief is immediate, you start craving it like a habit. This is also why you might keep a long to-do list on purpose. A long list makes you feel important. It makes you feel safe, even when the list is draining you. And when you are praised for being reliable, your brain stores it like a reward. So you keep performing the role, even when you are exhausted. Because you fear what happens if the reliable one becomes the resting one. This is also why compliments can feel uncomfortable to busy people. They do not know how to just receive. They want to earn everything. So their calendar becomes a resume, their exhaustion becomes proof, and their life becomes a performance they cannot step out of. 3. Being busy can be a way to avoid closeness. This one is quiet, but powerful. Some people fear emotions not because emotions are weak, but because emotions create intimacy, and intimacy creates risk. If you stay busy, you have a perfect excuse. You cannot text back, you cannot talk, you cannot open up, you cannot meet, you are just busy. But sometimes busy means protected. This links to attachment styles, especially avoidant patterns. When closeness feels unsafe, the nervous system prefers distance, so you fill your time to keep people at a safe length. You stay helpful, you stay polite, you stay functional, but you do not stay vulnerable. And if someone tries to get close, you suddenly have a project, a deadline, a new plan, not because you do not care, because caring feels like losing control. So you build a life with no empty spaces because empty spaces invite connection, and connection invites feelings you do not know how to hold. 4. Busyness can be a form of emotional numbing. Not all numbness looks like emptiness. Sometimes numbness looks like ambition. Sometimes it looks like someone who never stops. Your brain has a limited emotional bandwidth. If you overload it with tasks, there is less space for pain. This is why some people feel calm only when they are stressed. Stress becomes familiar. Stress becomes identity. So when life is peaceful, their body does not relax. It panics. Because calm feels unfamiliar. Calm feels like waiting for something bad. That is hypervigilance. It often comes from earlier seasons of life where you had to stay alert, stay ready, stay useful. So your nervous system learned to live in fight or flight, and busy is the perfect fuel for that system. It gives you adrenaline. It gives you purpose. It gives you a reason to not feel. But the cost is heavy, because numbness does not delete pain. It delays it. And delayed feelings do not disappear. They stack. Then one small thing happens. A small comment, a missed call, a quiet night, and suddenly you feel too much. You think it came out of nowhere. It did not. You just stopped running. 5. Your mind mistakes motion for meaning. Here is the final twist. Some people stay busy because they are afraid of emptiness. Not just emotional emptiness, but existential emptiness. That feeling that asks, what is all this for? If you are always moving, you do not have to answer. This connects to something called the meaning maintenance model. When the mind senses a gap in meaning, it tries to restore order. So it grabs routines, it grabs structure, it grabs productivity, and there is also a bias here, the action bias. When you feel uncomfortable, doing something feels smarter than doing nothing, even if doing nothing is what you need. So you act, you fix, you plan, you optimize. But deep inside, you are looking for a feeling, safety, control, significance. And the saddest part is this: you can fill every hour and still feel empty, because meaning is not the same as motion, and peace is not the same as progress. Let me tell you a quick story. A guy named David was known as the reliable one, always on time, always working, always improving. His friends admired him. His family praised him. But when he finally took a break, he felt anxious. He felt restless. He felt angry for no reason. So he opened his laptop again. One night, his power went out. No internet, no screens, no work, just him, and quiet. At first, he tried to distract himself. He cleaned. He reorganized drawers. He made new plans on paper. Then the quiet returned. And in that quiet, he felt something he had not allowed in years. Grief. Not dramatic grief, quiet grief. For time he lost, for friendships he neglected, for how hard he was on himself. He realized he had been using work like a painkiller, not because he was lazy, because he was hurting. He had fears he never admitted. He had a life he never checked in with. That night did not fix him, but it showed him the truth. He was busy, but he was not present. So what do you do if you see yourself in this? You do not need to quit your goals. You need to change your relationship with stillness. Start small. Give yourself 10 minutes a day with no task. No phone, no noise, just breathing. Notice what shows up, name it. This is emotional intelligence. Not controlling emotions, understanding them. If your mind starts judging you, notice the cognitive distortion. All or nothing thinking, catastrophizing, mind reading. Bring it back. You are not failing. You are learning to be with yourself. And if it helps, anchor it to your body. Slow exhale. Relax your jaw. Drop your shoulders. Teach your nervous system that calm is not a threat. And if you are always busy because you feel responsible for everyone, remember this: Being needed is not the same as being loved. Sometimes you stay busy because stopping would reveal you have no boundaries. So, practice one boundary, one no, one pause. Let the world survive without your output. Even your sleep matters here. Rest is regulation. Here is your takeaway. If you cannot rest, it is not a time management problem. It is a nervous system problem. It is a self-worth problem. It is a feeling problem. Your busyness is not your personality. It is your coping strategy. And coping strategies can change. So tonight, ask yourself one honest question. If I stop, what do I think I will feel? That answer is the door. If this video put words to something you have been living, you are not alone. Subscribe for more psychology that makes human behavior make sense. And share this with the person who is always busy, but never truly okay inside.